And welcome to the very first Positively Gainesville podcast. I'm your host, Darren Allred from Hometown Radio KGAF and Cook County Sports Talk. This twice-a-month podcast being brought to you by the Gainesville Economic Development Corporation. Basically just a way to shine a spotlight on just a few of the many great things going on right here in Gainesville, Texas. We focus on everything from business, industry, education, government, and overall quality of life issues. I think too many times we tend to let the 1% who love to focus on the negative block our view of all the positive things that we have going on in our community. So we tend to take those things for granted, I think, sometimes. There you go. Now you know the premise for Positively Gainesville. And we do thank the Gainesville Economic Development Corporation and all their partners for sponsoring the show. You know, one of the great things that we do have in our community that we tend to take for granted is the recreational activities and our great parks in the city, chances to get outdoors, chances to improve our health. So in this episode, we thought it would be nice to focus on the City of Gainesville Parks and Recreation Department. So joining me here in the studio, the Director of the Parks and Recreation Department, Mr. Patrick McCage. Patrick, how you doing today?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing great. Fantastic.
Good to have you here on our very first show, Positively Gainesville. And I'm guessing when someone comments that there's nothing to do in Gainesville, you must just shake your head, or drop your head, want to scream, because your department alone offers tons of both outdoor and indoor activities and programs for not only Gainesville citizens, but Cook County citizens. How do you do it all? How do you and your staff do it all?
It is very, very difficult at certain times of the year that we're able to offer a lot of activities. And it's very beneficial for the citizens, that, like you said, of Gainesville and surrounding counties that participate in our, the adult athletic leagues that we offer here. And very happy to do so, because it's greatly needed for our community. And it's a wonderful time. It is. Couldn't ask for a better job. I actually love going to work every day, seeing what we could do to not only improve the Parks Department, the system that we work in, but also the City of Gainesville and the surrounding county.
Yeah, like I said, your department is improving the quality of life for the people that live here. I think people tend to take that for granted sometimes. We're going to talk about the recreational activities and opportunities here in just a little bit. Let's start by focusing on parks. Gainesville does have a ton of parks. I mean, everyone knows about Leonard Park,
Sure.
Kind of the crown jewel, the wonderful playground, the train, the pool, the Frank Buck Zoo, all those. But that's just one of the many parks that we have in the city. How many acres, or how many parks and how many acres do you have?
What we have here in our park system in Gainesville, we have over 260 acres of parkland, what's designated parkland. Of that, we have about 120 acres of maintained, developed parkland, park areas that we oversee in the Parks Department. And it goes from anywhere from Leonard Park to JC Park to Edison Park, walking trail. And then we have some extra land on the other side of our soccer complex that down there on the south end of Weaver Street that we maintain as well. But it's 260 some odd acres of parkland that we have here in Gainesville. And of that, there's about 25 to 30 areas that it's either playscape, passive leisure recreation, and or ornamental park space that we have and that we maintain here in the system.
Yeah, so all those 260 acres, your crew's responsible for maintaining and mowing all those acres, right?
Yeah, and we have our fingers on all of that right now, and it's certain times of the year, particularly right now, it's really difficult to keep up and to have everything groomed out. But we do our best, and so far, I think we're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, it looks great. I'm guessing on any given day, Gainesville parks are used by hundreds and hundreds of people. Some days, those are in the thousands. We mentioned Leonard Park, but what are some of the other parks that in the city that citizens use, and what are some of the things that are offered maybe at each? You mentioned some of them, but what are some of the things that are offered at each of the parks?
Like at Edison Park, we have about 8 acres over there at Edison Park. We have some small pieces of playground equipment over there. We have our sand volleyball court that we constructed in-house in the Parks Department. that we utilize with our sand volleyball leagues that we host. Over there as well, we have 3 softball fields that we utilize year-round on our adult softball program that we offer with the men's and then also the co-ed leagues that we have. So that's Edison Park over there. And then the other park that comes to mind, of course, the soccer complex that we have. It's called Connettaso Park on the south end of Weaver Street. There's over 600 kiddos that play youth soccer down there on 2 separate seasons that the Cook County Soccer Association organizes. And then, of course, you have the Homegrown Hero Walking Trail. And this particular park is a linear park about a mile long. And fortunately, way back in the day, I got to thinking about it the other day, I got my 20-year pin, Darren,
wow,
at the City of Gainesville Parks Department. And so received that pin this past November. And about 19 years ago, an individual here with the City of Gainesville, the old community development director, we got together and we worked out a grant and received about $100,000, and we developed that Homegrown Hero Walking Trail. And then from there, it just took a life on its own, such as we incorporated a Homegrown Hero tree planting program. Then that expounded over to the Medal of Honor Host City program, to where we plant a tree, the City of Gainesville, we plant a tree for all the Medal of Honor recipients that come to visit Gainesville. And today I look back on some of those trees when they were just little small saplings whenever we planted them in the ground. And then now you have these towering Shumar red oak trees that line the walking trail. And it is such a neat jewel that we have there. And if you recall, I don't know if you remember way back in the day, that used to be an old rail line that came into Gainesville.
I heard that.
Yep.
I don't remember seeing it, but I remember hearing about it.
I do too. And well, whenever I came on board with the City of Gainesville, that was one of my first goals, one of my first projects that I took on. And back in the day, it was what you call a little bit of, before rednecks with paychecks and all that other good stuff. We had it there on the old railroad trestle there.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of mud dogging and stuff going on. And it was a blight on the neighborhood. And we were fortunate to receive a grant along with city's funding and manpower. And we were able to create that walking and jogging trail. And then, over the years, we've implemented, instead of the asphalt surface that we have, we implemented some concrete surfacing. And so we're going to progress on. And hopefully, funding allows, we'll continue on with our concrete trail improvements.
Yeah, that's a great place. I see people walking all the time. And it's a great place to push a stroller, walk the baby at the same time, walk a dog, and you're not really crowded like some other places. So a lot of people taking advantage of that. You got some other parks, I know, in different parts of the city. Some that are, utilized more than others. But over in, I guess, right around the creek area, you've got, is that JC Park where the Homegrown Hero Trail or Homegrown Hero Walking Trail starts? But then you've got the dog park across the street. I don't know if y'all are responsible for that, but at least a lot of people.
What is it called? Dog park?
Oh, if it says park in it, it's probably yours.
There you go.
All right. You're mowing it, right?
We are. And I'll tell you what, that is the Homegrown Hero Walking Trail tied into the Loop Path Walking Trail over there at JC Park. And we're fortunate enough, way back in the day, the old parks director, I wouldn't say old, but
the former parks
director, Milburn Cravens, which is in Kiwanis with us.
Right.
He implemented that loop walking path, and so we were able to tie right in to his old path that he put in. Then just right across the street of California Street, we had a fantastic group of volunteers that was headed up by Frank Monick.
Yeah.
He got a bunch of citizens together, and they raised a bunch of money, and they were able to create this dog park. Dog park, you go, oh, park, you need parks for people. But you know what? It's really taken off, and I see more and more dogs there that utilize that space that wasn't utilized by pedestrians in the past. And so, and it's a great asset that this group of volunteers basically said, you know what, we need a new system here. And they were able to implement that dog park. And now It's over to the City of Gainesville Parks and Recreation Department. We maintain it, and it's an awesome little jewel in downtown Gainesville.
Oh, it's great, because you got the shade, you got benches, there's trees there, so you can sit in the shade, and basically you just take your dog's got to be off the leash. You take the dog off the leash, let them run, and they have fun.
Do their thing.
They have fun, and they get to be with other dogs, kind of socialize with other dogs, and you get to meet the other people that are dog owners down there. It's really a great place.
I need to take my golden doodle down there, and
there you go.
I haven't done it yet. But I need to.
I take the little Raider, the little weenie dog down there.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah, he loves it. Just because he can just run as fast as he wants. Great place.
Do they run fast?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Dachshunds are very surprisingly those little legs can move really fast. That's for sure. Well, the crown jewel, of course, we're talking park. Oh, one other I wanted to mention. A couple blocks off of Culberson Street, you've got a park that has really grown over the last few years. Is it the Booker T. Washington Park, or is over there close to where the Booker T. Washington School was?
Oh, over there at the BP Douglas Park.
BP Douglas Park, that's the one
Douglas.
I'm thinking of. That always gets used quite a bit, and you've added some playground equipment and some basketball goals and stuff over there.
We transplanted some playground equipment over there, and then we also implemented a pavilion. And years ago, the Gainesville Kiwanis Club and the Gainesville Optimist Club, they pulled their funds together along with the City of Gainesville Parks Department, and we implemented a basketball court there. And so we have a basketball court over there as well, along with Edison. And so way back in the day, we've had a bunch of volunteer groups here in Gainesville. You think back and you think about it for a little bit, and you go, we've had a lot of great volunteer spirit that we have. And so the Kiwanis Club and the Optimist Club, they implemented some funds to help us construct the outdoor basketball court. So BP Douglas Park, most definitely, it's in a neighborhood setting, and we have a lot of events over there as well.
Yeah, love.
And then what's a big plus on that is that the city council, they approved this in this year's budget funding for the construction of new restrooms for that particular park.
Good.
Because back in the day, since I've been here, we've just had porta pots over there at the over there at the park, and so hopefully by the end of September, we'll have real functioning restrooms, which is needed for parks.
Yeah. Last thing you want is to be visiting the park for about an hour, and that emergency happens, and there's no place to go. So you're going to take care of that for sure.
There you go.
Well, the crown jewel, we mentioned Leonard Park, and for me, it starts with the playground. And you just talked about the great volunteers we have. Give us the history of that playground project.
Well, let me tell you, Jim Goldsworthy, back in the day when he was on the Parks and Rec board, he had a vision, and along with several members of the community and along with the city council back then, we needed an improvement because we needed something to complement the Frank Buck Zoo. And of course, we had the small playground equipment, we had the large pavilions, we have the beautiful towering trees, but we needed something bigger and better for the citizens of Gainesville, and not only the citizens, but also the visitors that come to Gainesville. They pulled over 2,000 volunteers together, raised a whole bunch of money, and they funded the construction of the playground in 1999. 2,000 volunteers came together, and we erected it in about a week's time. Fantastic, wonderful playground. And then here we go. Jim had another idea.
That Jim and his ideas.
I'm telling you, his ideas. And so he goes, hey, we need to make an improvement. Hey, we need to bring the community together again. We need to relive what we experienced in 1999. So in 2011, about another 1,500 volunteers came together, and they raised a whole bunch of money, and we expanded the playground in Leonard Park. And you talk about a compliment to the Leonard Park. There is not another park in the North Texas area that is the size of what we have, which is over 15,000 square feet of playground. And then also on that is that towering shade trees that we have throughout the park. You get a brand new park in a brand new city, no shade tree.
Yeah.
We have the shade tree. We have the ambiance. We have the wow factor in Leonard Park. So it not only complements the Frank Buck Zoo, but it gives a fantastic, wonderful location for family reunions, picnics, birthday parties, and it's a beautiful park. And I'm proud that I had a little help in construction of that, and then also the maintenance of it as well.
Well, I think you mentioned the number of volunteers. So a lot of people listening to this, watching this, will know exactly, because they probably, even if it was just an hour, for most it was more than that. It was several hours a day throughout that week. They were responsible, whether it was bolting stuff or nailing stuff or spreading mulch,
sanding stuff, and sealing stuff. And speaking of mulch, we just dumped 400 yards of mulch into the playground. This probably last month we got it all done.
Wow!
And so that's a lot of mulch. 3 truckloads. Wonderful. And so now we have a nice, beautiful bed of mulch. So come on down.
Well, the kids of Gainesville definitely love the playground. You and I were always happy to go down and climb the big rocket slide?
The rocket slide, and then the storm drain concrete pipes that were made into trains or something of that nature.
Yeah, I just remember the rocket slide because we would always forgo the sliding and try to climb up to the top of the rocket. And I don't think we were allowed to be up there. Probably if someone from the city would have seen us, they would not have been too happy about that. Hey, another one right across the street in Leonard Park from the playground, the Leonard Park Aquatic Center. And for those that maybe used to live in Gainesville and moved away, you remember the old Gainesville swimming pool. This is nothing like this.
Nothing.
This is a true aquatic center. So tell us a little bit about the aquatic center.
On the aquatic center, we had a wonderful experience several years ago, back in 2011, 2012, with our sales tax in the city of Gainesville. And so we were fortunate enough to, we had it on the plan. We needed a new pool. We needed a new pool. We needed a new pool. And it was on the plan. However, we don't have about $2.5–3 million to build a new pool. Well, our wants and our needs. And so fortunately, we had a good year. The city of Gainesville had a good year with sales tax revenue. And we decided, the city council and the city manager decided to pull the trigger, said, let's do it this coming up year. So after about $2.5 million, we imploded the old pool, all by in-house city of Gainesville employees. So we imploded the whole pool, we got it built back up, and then we started construction on this fabulous facility. Now, could it be bigger and better and Lazy River and Hawaiian Falls? Yes, but we're not the Metroplex.
Yeah, but those are dreams you have eventually, right? Eventually,
yeah. I have a plan. Here's my plan. My city manager loves me.
I bet Barry does, doesn't he?
Hey, Barry. So anyway, so what we have here is a venue that I'm telling you, it's so much more interactive than what we had before. So basically, we had a big hole, a 500,000-gallon hole of water with 2 diving boards. Now on this right here, we have a 20-foot drop slide. We have a 10-foot tall drop slide, diving boards, rock climbing wall, play structures, and it's a neat venue. On this, as far as that aquatic center is concerned, we have probably over about 10,000 visitors that hit the pool on an annual basis. Some years a little bit better, some years are not so good.
Depending on the weather?
Yeah, depending on the weather. And we had a lot of rain at the beginning of this year. Fortunately, over the old pool, big deficit, big drain on tax dollars. This particular pool, even though it did cost a little bit over $2 million to build, our revenue has greatly improved, and it has offset the subsidy that the city had to kick in to help support it. And so it really reduced the expense on the taxpayers here in Gainesville. And so does it pay for itself? No. One year we got into like I believe about $2,500 of it's paying for itself. And so this year we're trying to close the gap, but we may be at that $2,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 range of where it's not paying for itself. But before the old pool, the city never paid for itself, and so there was probably about a $50,000 kick-in that the city had to pay to keep that old pool up and going.
Well, the thing is, most of these recreational things like that don't pay for themselves.
No,
I mean, whether it's if they made a ton of money, then Wet and Wild would be putting in a park in Gainesville, Texas,
exactly.
Or there'd be a 8-field softball complex, things like that. Parks and Recreation Department, that's not really, you're not here to make money.
You're not here to make money. You want to capture as much as you can.
Right.
However, what you want to do is capture that quality of life that you have to offer your citizens of Gainesville. And that's the main thing. Is to improve What we try to do is try to improve the quality of life for the citizens of Gainesville as much as we can on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. And that's my main goal. Customer service, quality of life, and of course have fun too.
Oh, and speaking of fun, at the pool, you've got the dine-in movie nights where you show a movie.
Most definitely.
I said dine-in. That would be food involved. Dive in. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I get it now. Dive-in movie nights, and people can rent the pool for private parties, things like that.
Most definitely. And the dive-in movie nights are something that we couldn't do in the old pool because of the lack of underwater lighting. Now we're able to do that. So our dive-in movies, we offer about 3 dive-in movies a year, private pool parties that we have available. And so, but however, we're looking at, we're on the downhill slide right now. Our last day of the pool will be around August the 11th. And so because school starts when? August 14th here locally. And so it's coming to an end. It's on the downhill slide. But it's been a wonderful season. Knock on wood.
Yeah, we got a great staff down there. And
We
you
do.
always hire great staff, and it really is a great place to take the kids and enjoy. Weekday, you're open 7 days a week. So
7 days a week, 1 to 6 p.m. And so for the remainder of the month of August, come on down, visit us. It's a great way to cool off. Great way to cool off.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about some of the other recreational activities, the sports leagues, because over the last probably 20 years, this is something that has really taken off in Gainesville. Your department is, you've got a recreation coordinator that helps you out with that, but you offer a chance to stay in shape, have some fun with what you've got. You mentioned men's softball, co-ed softball. You've got indoor basketball, you've got indoor volleyball, beach volleyball. Am I missing anything there? You've got leagues in all of those that adults, well, teenagers, I don't know what the cutoff is, young adults and old adults alike can take part if they kind of want to just have some fun. They're not ready to give up those glory days of being a basketball star, right?
I know. In 2005, a group of guys came to me and said, "Hey, we don't want to run the softball league anymore." And back in those days, Darren, it was all organizations, or that organization was ran by other outside entities. And basically the mindset of the Gainesville Parks Department was a maintenance parks department, not a programming parks department. And so we took it on. I took it on in 2006. And what we discovered here is that softball is big in North Texas. Fortunately, right now, we have adult co-ed softball, adult men's softball. We have a competitive league and a recreational league. And basically, we play year-round softball. If you're looking for a league to play, our leagues are typically 5 to 6 weeks long. We take maybe about a week or two off, and then we start in on another league. So our men's softball and co-ed softball programs, we offer 6 seasons a year, and we focus all the play over there at Edison Park as well. And hopefully this year, I made some requests for some improvements over there because of the activity that we have there at our softball program. So we want to try to improve the facility as much as we can, and to offer a quality athletic program. And so I think that's what we do. And like I said, way back in 2005, they used to have the one summer season. Now we're playing year-round adult softball.
Yeah, now you play when it's 35 degrees out there.
Oh,
that's that winter softball.
That's our winter league that we kick off in December.
Yeah, those guys and girls are better. I got to give them credit because I don't know that I could do that for sure.
I couldn't do it.
And then you've recently, over the last few years, maybe the last decade, you've added got a good partnership with the Gainesville ISD to use some of their gymnasiums. You've been able to start volleyball and basketball, right?
Most definitely, and I do appreciate Dr. Stewart. Another Kiwanian. We have Kiwanians all over the place.
That must be a really great organization.
That must be a wonderful organization. Hey, when do they meet?
Tuesdays at noon. If you need an application, go see Johnny Lethwich at Dustin's Office Machines. There you go.
Anyway, we visited with Dr. Stewart and Coach Polk, and several years ago we kicked off our volleyball league. We needed a new home, and Dr. Stewart opened up his doors, and so we came. We got into a great partnership with the GISD. For a little bit of fees that we pay, we're able to offer basically year-round indoor adult volleyball. And like I said, We started off with one league several years ago. This has flourished, and we have a good, strong group of individuals that play year-round year-round volleyball, indoor volleyball. And from there, we grew even more. We offered indoor basketball. And so we're working out a new schedule. I think we're supposed to meet up today or soon with the GISD administration and work out our fall scheduling. And so hopefully this partnership will continue. I think we're a benefit for the ISD, and I think that they are most definitely a benefit for the Parks and Recreation Department, because in turn, our community, Gainesville, Cook County, surrounding counties, even southern Oklahoma, we have a couple of teams from there, benefit greatly on this quality of life. So what is there to do in Gainesville? There's a lot to do in Gainesville.
Yeah, don't say that. There's nothing to do in Gainesville, because we just gave you about 20 things today. Go visit a park, go swimming, go do the playground, join the adult softball league, go play some beach volleyball.
Most definitely, and we built those, the Parks Department, and I take my hats off to our maintenance crew. I told my guys, I said, hey, we need some sand volleyball courts here in Gainesville. And they looked at me and scratched my head, and they just put their head down. Okay, so we're building sand volleyball courts this off season. And so about 4 or 5 years ago, we built the sand volleyball courts over at Edison Park as well. Yeah. And so I got a great group of maintenance guys that they just love seeing me come in of a morning. Hey, what are we going to do today? Well, basically, what are we going to do for the citizens of Gainesville today? Whether it's cutting grass, edging, trimming bushes, or programming athletic leagues, or ensuring that the playground is ready to go every day, 7 days a week. And so it's a wonderful time. I like it. Do we need more improvements? Most definitely. We need more improvements. Do we have the funds for it? No, we don't have the funds for everything right now. However, over this past several years, with our city manager and the city council, slowly but surely, small steps, and we're progressing in the right direction right now.
Yeah, but if anybody is listening, watching, and they want to write a check for $5 million, we can build a really nice softball complex.
Complex, turf fields, and
put in your lazy river, and put in your lazy river down at the
river. Yeah.
We've got your money figured out. If you can just get it to us.
We have the plan.
For sure. Patrick, it's been fun finding out more about the Parks and Recreation Department and all that you offer. And do tell your staff thank you on behalf of all the citizens of Gainesville. I know they probably don't get the praise, but they're out there sweating in the summer, freezing in the winter, and keeping those parks looking nice for all of us. We certainly appreciate that. That is Patrick McCage, the director of the Parks and Recreation Department, joining us here. It's Positively Gainesville. It's a new podcast. We do encourage you to subscribe to the Positively Gainesville podcast channel on YouTube. Make sure you follow the City of Gainesville and the Gainesville Area Chamber of Commerce on Facebook. Until next time, stay positive, Gainesville.